the misty mountains cold, to dungeons deep and caverns old, we must away ere break of day to find our long forgotten gold.
Oh, hey guys! Finally, I have been able to see the new film, The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey. Now, I review animation, generally speaking, not live action, but I felt that I needed to touch on this movie a little bit because of just how important Tolkien is to me. Every nerd has their original fandom, the title or franchise or series that introduced them to fantasy or science fiction, the thing that made them a nerd, that they hold a deep, abiding love and passion for. And for me, that's the works of J.R.R. Tolkien. It's the first thing that I was ever obsessively fanatical about, and to this day, J.R.R. Tolkien is still my all-time favorite author. Now, because of this, I am a little bit of a purist. I very much love the Lord of the Rings movies, but I did still have a lot of issues with them, Two Towers especially. Now, I'm not going to get into those movies at all in this video, but suffice it to say that when The Hobbit was announced to be a three-parter, and that it wasn't just going to be The Hobbit, but it was also going to incorporate all sorts of stuff about the Necromancer, I was excited, but also a little hesitant. So I finally got to see the movie last night, and I basically had about the same reaction as I thought I would. On the whole, I really liked it, but with a few grievances. Now, I'm not really going to do a full review on every single aspect of the movie. I'm not going to talk about the filming style or the CGI or any of that stuff. This video is basically just going to be about some of the changes made from the book and how it compares and kind of what I thought about it. It is definitely going to be very spoiler heavy, so be warned. Peter Jackson likes to take some artistic liberties that I am not really all that fond of. And don't get me wrong, I fully understand that film is a completely different medium than a novel, and that some things that work in a book are not going to work in film and vice versa. But that's why this is an opinion video. And there are plenty of changes made that were totally fine, and I'm not going to dissect every single last one of them. I'm really only going to address some of the big ones. The biggest, most glaring addition to this story is Azog. Usually speaking, the issues with adapting a book into a movie is how much is left out from the book. In this case, however, I feel that a lot of completely unnecessary stuff was added into it to kind of pad it out. Enter Azog, the evil orc leader who killed Thorin's grandfather, Thror. In the book, Azog is referenced as having been killed by Thorin earlier as vengeance for the death of Thror. It's just mentioned offhand, like, oh yeah, remember when you killed that orc? Good times. He's dead long before the story starts. But in the movie, he's hunting them and tracking them down, and they have several run-ins with him and his orcs, and I cannot stress this enough that none of this is in the book. Now, I have heard some people say that one of their grievances with this movie is that the pacing is too fast. Well, do you think that this could be because they added in a completely unnecessary character that makes there be twice the amount of action scenes as there should be? I feel like they're probably trying to tie in Thorin and Company's quest to reclaim the Lonely Mountain into the issues with the Necromancer. It doesn't work. It's cool that we're seeing stuff about the Necromancer. That was all really awesome. The council and stuff. Radagast was pretty amazing, and I can't wait to see more of him. All of that is stuff that's happening at the same time as Thorin's quest for revenge, but it doesn't have anything to do with it. They're two separate plot lines that coincide, and they don't have to be tied into each other. Now, I have to say, the entire battle at the very end of the movie, after they've escaped the Misty Mountains and they're set upon by Azog, was phenomenally cool, probably the coolest part of the whole movie. That was a wicked awesome fight, and Bilbo got to be frickin' amazing. But that entire fight should have been the goblins from the mountains, not this orc leader with a vendetta. The other thing that I'm not really okay with is how they amped up Thorin's dislike of the elves. In this film, it is explained that when Smaug attacked, the wood elves were asked for help, but turned them down and let the dragon destroy them. And this is used as the reason for why Thorin hates elves so much. Here's the thing though, that doesn't happen in the books, and Thorin doesn't hate elves. Dwarves and elves don't like each other particularly very much, but they're on friendly terms politically. Thorin and company spend a long, happy, restful time at Rivendell. And the only reason he doesn't tell the Wood Elf King about their quest is pure greed. He's worried that the Wood Elf King might possibly want in on the gold. So the entire Thorin hates elves thing was weird. There's some other minor details as well, but this video is going to be long enough as it is. When it really comes down to it, those were my two biggest issues with the movie. And there's tons in there that I absolutely adored as well. Like I said, I absolutely loved Radagast, and I cannot wait to see Gandalf take on the Necromancer. That is going to be totally awesome. The intro with Bilbo telling the backstory with Smaug and everything was absolutely phenomenal. And there are so many little scenes that they just got so amazingly right. Like Gandalf talking to Bilbo in the very beginning about what he means by good morning. And I can't tell you how excited I was that they actually had the dwarves singing Chip the Glasses, Crack the Plates. And speaking of the music, one of the most exciting things for me when the trailer was released was just how awesomely right they got the dwarves song. I grew up on the animated version and it has an amazing rendition of that song, and I didn't think this movie could top it.
Far o'er the misty mountains cold, to dungeons deep and caverns low, we must away.
There's a magic in that music,
and it moves through me.
you feel the love of beautiful things.
To go and see the great mountains and hear the pine trees and waterfalls.
To wear a sword instead of a walking stick.
Just once.
But they did an incredibly good job. It sounds phenomenal. This was a really exciting and fun movie. It's not as faithful to the book as I would like it to be, but I knew that that was going to be the case going in, so all in all, I'm pretty happy with it. It was a wonderful movie and a great viewing experience. And now we have to wait another year for more! Hooray!